Professor Paul Wunderlich was born in Germany in 1927. During his 40 creative years, he has not only painted, sculptured, printed and taught graphics, but has also invented his own technique if there were none at hand, and has simply made his own color were the one missing. In German, Wunderlich means peculiar, wondrous, and it is thus perhaps not surprising that his works are not so easily pigeonholed. A mystery of colors, lines and forms balances on the border between the illusionary and reality. Well, now you're showing the mysterious process of making art. Is it mystery?
Yeah. If you see the process, it's not a mystery anymore. The result counts.
Do you feel there are any borders in making art? Because you make art in different medias, using even applied art and sculpture and painting. Could you say what is art or what is not art?
No, I couldn't say that. Who can? Who could? It's very difficult. In our times, everything seems to be art. I never have any exact vision of my pictures. A very vague idea. Things change during the work. You can't wait for inspiration. You may die before it comes. In Switzerland, I'm coming in the morning at 6:30 and I stay here and work until, let's say, 7 in the evening. Then I go back in the hotel, eat and sleep.
So, artist is working in the same way as everybody else. It's not
more.
Fun.
I'm sure more. My self-portraits are entirely ironical. I add myself to the picture when I think that I myself belong to the scene. Now I'm taking the mask away.
Wunderlich is also a master craftsman. He has studied old graphic methods and recipes for inks and gums. His main specialty is lithography, and he prefers to work directly on the stone.
Then I can see the mess I have done. I cut the pieces off I want to paint on or to spray on.
But you have to see everything in the mirror, because when it's printed, it will be...
It's vice versa. I'm very much involved in lithography, and so I tried out myself several inks and I cooked them myself. And as a student, I have been a printer myself. I have been printing for Emil Nolde and Kokoschka, and so I learned a lot. Most of the artists, they don't know anything about the printing. Well, I'm admiring Leonardo da Vinci. Sfumato, I think that's the name in Italian. It's like a sfumato painting. And as I use a spray gun, it's very close to sfumato.
When you plan a picture, is it a kind of feeling or it's a construction?
I think it's both. It looks like Karen again. I can't help it. Huh? I use my wife, my dogs, and myself.
You want to see where I put it, the sculpture, how lovely it looks? Come on.
Betty, Leo, Leo, Betty, good boy, Betty, come on, Betty, come on. Leo, come here. Good girl, good boy. Good girl, good boy. Good girl, good boy.
Photographer Karin Sikashi and Paul Wunderlich have lived and worked together for 20 years and continue constantly to inspire each other.
Okay.
In the 1970s, Paul and me had a first relationship, working relationship, and I was doing models and he was doing, sometimes he was using my photographs for his paintings, and now he's giving me his sculptures and I'm trying to do photographs with his sculptures. This is the sofa where I did my photograph, Madame Récamier, and later Paul did several paintings on the same theme. We use them very often for art. Like everything you find here, we use it for photography or for painting. But everything can be erotic, also a house or a garden, or if you see it in this way.
Oh, I have a very strong relation to furniture. For me, it's like a piece of sculpture, like a piece of art, especially this kind of furniture. I love it. I started to buy furniture when I was a very young man. I use it very often as a model. A piece of furniture which becomes a kind of human being. It's a kind of metamorphosis.
The work of the other one does inspire enormously, I think. It's not that we do work together so often, but it's what the talking and looking at what Paul has done, or probably also sometimes looks at my photographs and likes them. So this is, I think, what makes it. It's not that we do work together really next to one
No,
each
but
other.
it was kind of a fertile relationship, I think.
Yeah. We did portfolio after this. He did lithography as well, not only painting but lithography. And then an editor decided to do portfolio combining photographs and lithographs.
Yellow, it's a very mean and very strong color. It's difficult to handle. I like it.
Leo! Leo!
You live in different countries, like you work in Switzerland, you have a house in France, and now you're in Hamburg. Do you feel you belong to a certain environment, or you're all over?
Well, I think I belong to Europe, to European countries. My roots are in Europe. Now he's preparing the stone, which is a very delicate thing. We prepare this with acid. This is for a sonnet, a lithograph of an edition of 100 and a poster about 300. That's nice, huh? This is called iris. Iris. One color goes into the other. Was it nice?
Yes, very nice.
Now he's washing the black color out of the stone. Turpentine and some special mixture. The drawing disappears. See, the drawing is coming out again. Now in color.
Is it ready now?
No, not yet. One stone is missing.
And one stone means one more color?
Yes,
or more image?
more color. It's a good smell, huh? Like the pine trees in the south of France. They smell like. They should to be seen, huh?
Mm-hmm. And yellow on white, you never can see it properly.
Not so bad. I'm very much involved in life, and I'm very much involved in my paintings, as you can see. Very often you find a self-portrait in it.
In addition to several monographies about Paul Wunderlich, he has, with his own two hands, placed himself in world art history.
It's a Déjeuner sur l'herbe by Manet, and I put myself in the picture, and the second man is a friend of mine. Well, now let's go from Manet to Max. I did a portrait of Marx because his books have turned the world upside down. Well, there's another one, another Marx.
Rosetsky got Nobel Prize?
That's Carlos Rosetsky, yeah. There are two versions. This one is going to be shown in Sweden. He was given the Nobel Prize for Peace when he was in a German concentration camp. I was deeply influenced by these horrible things during the Nazi time. The series 20th July 1944 was done almost 20 years later. I joined the army in 1945. The war was almost over, and they put me in jail until it was over. I was very lucky. I had some problems with a German Unteroffizier. There was a period in my life when I made these skeletal configurations, but you cannot go on suffering all your life. I think you wouldn't be alive if you continued doing horrible things. I suffered enough. Childhood is a time of suffering. Every child is suffering in a way, by not being brave enough, by not being beautiful enough. Come to me.
When did we
Oh,
meet?
that's a long time ago.
Beginning of 60s. No.
Yeah, we met in Paris the first time, I think, in
1963.
1962 or something like that. 62.
And then your paintings became much lighter.
No, not immediately. But after a while.
There's a period when you had more or less dark colors when you made
In the beginning I
kids.
had pretty dark colors, but then it changed. Maybe it has a connection to the age. Of course, to the mood too. To your personal situation.
And then you have something else similar with Dürer also, probably because your point of departure is line, and he had the same thing.
Yeah, that seems to be typically German and English. The line is very important for a German.
Maybe even more important than color.
Yeah, I think so.
Wunderlich's images from the 50s readily bring to mind the neo-expressionist images of the 80s. Now his works reveal principles of beauty and classical elegance. Perhaps even suffering must have a limit. Perhaps life has other topics, even in an age that celebrates anguish as a theme of creativity.
Now I'm doing a little face, a little mask. Now I'm modeling into the clay. And then I put plaster in it. For sculptures I prefer, in the end, bronze. This is going to be a head, just a face, a mask, a small one. But this is done in the same way, negative way. If you want to make a hero, you have to make a valley. No, we are ready. We can put plaster in it. I'm not making bread, that's plaster. It is very similar to cooking. You're right. Now I'm putting the plaster in the negative form. And the plaster will be the positive. But it gets warm before it gets hard.
This is now a very exclusive tea party because we are drinking tea from Paul Wunderlich's sculptures. I think nowadays art can have also practical value and still be art.
It was very interesting for me to do it. Difficult in the beginning, but I enjoyed it very much. They asked me to do it to do a decor for a tea set, but I refused to do a decor. I wanted to make these things
And the milk,
themselves.
I can't reach it.
Like little sculptures, as you said.
And then you use very often human figure, quite often female body as a motif. And for example, you can see on this painting here above us, and there is also another sculpture. It really changes from the skeletal figuration to very sensual, erotical, and beautiful motif. How could you explain it?
It's difficult to explain. It's just in life. It's just the other way around.
So one way to fight death is to be artist.
Maybe. Life and death have more mystery than art. It takes a long time to make a sculpture, a long time to come to the end. I work from 9 to 6. You have to go on working, even if you don't feel like it. You teach more by the way you live than by words.
Although it is possible to reveal certain dimensions of a man, it is important to Wunderlich to keep much of his life and art veiled in secrecy, as though exposing it to light would fade the magic.